everyone. Here I will tell you about an experience that gave me a valuable experience, and I will never forget this incident. For 22 years I lived, this was my first experience accepting a loss. First, I will tell you a little about my mother's brothers. My mother has five siblings, two girls and three boys. And this time, it was my mother's sisters and I's experience, which I affectionately call Bunda. This happened during last semester's holiday. One day after the final exam, I decided to go home to Padang, where everything was still the same. And until finally, I heard that Bunda was sick. Then, the next day, I decided to see her the condition. Still as enthusiastic as ever, but in the look in her eyes, I saw the pain she was feeling. However, when asked if anyone was sick, she will always answer no, and she hasn't had any medical treatment because she is fright. This could be said to be due to caution, and finally medical treatment was carried out at one of the regional hospitals where I live. And she only wants to be with me. And finally, I decided to live with her from then on. Long story short, after all examinations were carried out at the hospital, seeing the medical result, the doctor would treat him showed a slightly surprised expression, but tried to cure him. Here, his condition is still able to walk independently and with enthusiasm, but finally, based on the result, a referral was made for the future treatment at the hospital that was more adequate with the necessary equipment. The night before going to the hospital, she told me and two female cousins to always get along because we were only granddaughter in the house. There, I felt something extraordinary and my mind was all over the place. The next day, after the seduction at the building, her condition worsened, and finally, she was rushed to the hospital. During the inpatient stay that looked after me, she received many treatment process and procedures from hospital. This point I was called the doctor's office, and after a long explanation, the result of the diagnosis was final level cancer stadium. I don't know what I felt when I heard that, because I was the only one in the position. It was also because of the hospital arrest. All I could do was cry and then call my cousin and she's husband. At that time, we only hoped for your prayers and Allah's help. However, it is also accompanied by medical efforts. At the times, the doctor recommended a biopsy to find out whether the cells were malignant or benign. And yes, the biopsy operation was performed. After the operation, his condition remained normal because she had been in the hospital more or less 12 days. She asked go to home. After family discussion, she finally went home but was still under supervision of a doctor. 2 or 3 days at home, suddenly she condition deteriorated drastically, and finally she was rushed again to one of the nurse of hospital. Long story short, after 3 days treatment and action, the rules were that the cells had spread to the brain. Finally, maybe Allah loved him more and doesn't want to feel pain any longer. In the afternoon, after information from the doctor, she took his last breath in the HCU room. And thanks God, I was given the opportunity to say love as Allah to her. And Allah also gave me extraordinary strength. So that I could accompany her to his final resting place. I met this incident the theme of my psychotalk because after that incident, my thoughts were always haunted by a continuous feel and of the sadness. However, thanks to support of my family and the people around me, I become strong. They always give positive direction and also say that life is just deposit that will one day be taken away. And as servants who have the power of the fight, we must be strong in carrying it out. I don't know. I can explain, but I feel so many things and I learned so many lessons from this incident. I think that all for me, the little story I can share. And thank you for your participation and listening.